goals already for Annabelle Frist. And now it's 6-2 Cardinal. In traffic, the spin, the shot, and the score. And Ailish Kelly with her 5th goal of the day. As for the 2nd time in back-to-back seasons and the 3rd time overall, the Cardinal are champions of Pac-12 women's lacrosse. And we're coming to you from Stanford, home of the back-to-back Pac-12 lacrosse champions. Today, the Cardinal meet Cornell in a big test for both teams. Welcome to chilly, rainy, soggy Laird Q. Kagan Stadium. Troy Clarity here, glad that you are here with us. Hope you're staying dry, no matter where you are. Well, Stanford's hoping to bounce back from a tough loss at Jacksonville last week that dropped the Cardinal 1-2 on the young season. They certainly have the firepower to get it done. Let's spotlight 2 of Stanford's most dangerous attackers. First, Frist. Annabelle Frist, the sophomore from Nashville, off to a productive start, leading the Cardinal with 10 goals, can score from the 8-meter or just about anywhere else on the attack. A big target, a great finisher, and lethal in transition in both directions. Frist with 5 goals against Cal 12 days ago. And this young lady with 5 goals against Jacksonville last week. Ailish Kelly, a junior from Bayport, New York, terrific in the first 3 games. All the more amazing considering she missed all of fall ball with an injury and didn't practice at all until last month. Awesome stick skills, too. Well, always fun whenever Stanford squares off against an Ivy League school. Stanford wants a rebound win. Cornell wants to start 4-0. We'll fire it up from the farm in just a moment.
You're watching Pac-12 Network, where champions play. Available on VidGo.
Here's to the healthy heroes, the gluten-free gladiators, the plant-based pioneers. Let us raise our banner for high-quality conquests. Find your healthy at Sprouts Farmers Market.
Angie's List is losing the list. From now on, it's just Angie.
So what happens to all the people that needed the list?
Oh yeah, everything still works. We just made it better. We even let you book services instantly now.
Start your home project at Angie.com.
You really have to be determined and have that athlete's mindset.
Every day coming in, doing what you got to do, giving 100%.
And you're certainly not going to win just on your ranking. You got to bring it.
You know, that's just really what separates being good from being great.
Let's go. Set your jaw. Time to go to work.
It is one of the most amazing scenes in all of college athletics.
It was a brilliant display of competitiveness, and that's what this place stands for.
The things that they battled through, and to come out here and have a dominating performance, it means something.
I love this. I want to go back to college.
Have we got a treat for you today?
This is a monster waiting to explode.
How do you become an icon that outshines the rest? The 2023 Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament, presented by New York Life.
Pac-12 Women's Lacrosse is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, the official grocer of the Pac-12. And by Clean Simple Eats, elevating life through food and fitness. A look at the happenings at the Pac-12 Women's Swimming and Diving Championships over this past weekend. And of course, Stanford cleaned up, did very well, and claimed their 25th conference title. Conference champions there. Conference champions here at Stanford, as we're here for women's lacrosse. The Cardinal about to host the Cornell Big Red on a day in which the weather has been a bit of a factor. Had a big rainstorm move through here about a half hour or so ago. Could see some intermittent showers throughout the remainder of the day. 47 degrees as we get started. Let's get to the lineups for both squads, starting with the Cornell Big Red. They have had 4 young ladies lead their attack. Maggie Pons with 9 goals. Shannon Brazier with 8 goals. Amanda Kramer, the senior captain, with 8 goals as well. And Katie Castiello can score as well. Watch out for Alexis Reinhart on the defensive end of things. She's making her first career start. Jenny Grapp, the head coach of the Cornell Big Red, who are 3-0 out of the Ivy League with wins over Albany, Colgate, and Cal. The Stanford starting lineup, the young lady red at the top of the list is Ashley Humphrey, delivering 88 assists last season, an NCAA Division I record. And certainly the engine that helps make the very potent Stanford attack go. A look at the draw circle. Annabelle Frist for Stanford, and Annie Thomas for Cornell. Stanford winning just under 48% of draws so far this season, 5th in the 6-team Pac-12. The Big Red and the Cardinal. Away we go. Enjoy the game. Cornell eventually scoops it up. Grace Faircloth met immediately, pressured by Annabelle Frist. And a Stanford team that is champing at the bit after dropping a tough loss to Jacksonville last week. The team that knocked them out of the NCAA tournament last season in the first round. That was a 20-8 final last year. Stanford led 4-1 late in the first quarter, but then Jacksonville went on a 6-0 run. Stanford got close, but couldn't quite seal the deal as Jacksonville got the 12-10 win over Stanford last week. That was exactly 1 week ago, as a matter of fact. On the approach inside the 8, bothered, knocked away, and scooped up, taken by Caitlin Slaminka. Katie Gilbert defensively for Stanford. The pass errant, fell to Josie Vogel for a moment, and she does get it back. Met at the 8, needs a little help, and the pass off the mark. Cardinal swarming defensively early. Let's look at Kara Ram. She had the ball for a moment. The Pac-12 goalkeeper of the year. That loss at Jacksonville last week, despite Ailish Kelly's 5 goals, dropped Stanford to 1-2 on the young season. That's Katie Gilbert. Helps the Cardinal work it back. There's Ashley Humphrey, her first touch of the game. Check back. Annabelle Frist. And the Stanford attack facing a Cornell defense that is trying to put some pieces together. They lost their senior captain, Hillary Hoover. She got injured during the summer and is not available for this one. They've been trying to plug and paste the defensive lineup ever since. Gilbert off the mark to Humphrey, who goes down and gets it. Across to Kelsey Myers. There's Alexis Reinhart defensively. Frist at close range, the scoop, and the score. Annabelle Frist at close range, faked high, went low, and gives Stanford a 1-0 lead. The stick skills that you need, especially when you are close in, and Annabelle Frist showing them off right here. Nope, I'm not gonna go high. It's gonna sidewind it past the Cornell keeper, Ellie Horner. So that is the 11th goal of the year for that young lady, Annabelle Frist. All Pac-12 second team last year. She is now on a 22-game scoring streak. Does so much and is asked to do so much for this Cardinal squad. Score goals, win draws, and when necessary, get the ball back in transition. She's been very productive and efficient in all 3 of those categories. Frist catches it on the fly. Kelly trying to catch up with it. Out of bounds. And Stanford will maintain possession, ruled off of Cornell. Talking to Danielle Spencer before the game, she admitted the team was frustrated, felt that they'd prepared so well, put so much work into that game against Jacksonville, matched up and did some good things against them. It's not like Jacksonville blew them out in the statistical categories. As there's a close shot deflected from Ellie Horner. That was Ailish Kelly, who let loose for the first time today. I'm sure we'll see more of that. Jay Brown scoops it back up and keeps it alive for the Cardinal. But Danielle Spencer admitted frustration for her team this week, trying to get ready. Terrific assist from Sarah Jakes, who finds Ashley Humphrey unmarked. Very quickly, it's 2-0 Stanford. Well, usually it's the other way around, with Ashley Humphrey dishing to Sarah Jakes. Those two did that at Darien High School back in Connecticut. But here, the tables turned. Jakes fighting off the defense and just spotting Ashley Humphrey wide open for the easy score. Ashley Humphrey coming into this game, Stanford's leader in points. She's feeling it. Her 8th goal of the season, along with 7 assists. Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, first team All Pac-12 last season, and a campaign in 2022 for the record books. We mentioned the 88 assists, an NCAA Division I record, 4.63 assists per game last year as well. That was also a record. So the Cardinals scoring about a minute apart. Frist first, and then Humphrey, giving Stanford a 2-0 lead. Rain starting to fall here again at Stanford as Frist claims the draw. But we have a whistle before things can really get going. And I believe a yellow card, yes, has been shown. And Annie Thomas is coming off. So Stanford will have a player advantage. It's been raining off and on throughout the afternoon. It's been chilly, 47 degrees. If you're watching here in the Bay Area, I don't need to tell you how wild and woolly the weather has been here this week. I've been seeing snow cover in some places. I never thought I'd see snow cover over the last couple of days. But a bit of a breeze. A light rain shower passing over Kagan Stadium right now. 47 degrees as we begin. Unseasonably cold here in the Bay Area. Talking to Jenny Grapp, the Cornell head coach, first thing she did was she apologized for bringing the weather from Western New York with her here to the Bay Area. I let her off the hook. Frist. Finding Ailish Kelly, but Ellie Horner denies that one at close range. Ellie Horner, the sophomore from Richmond, Virginia, had 16 saves at Cal on Saturday. Pressure from Stanford, taken back by Jay Brown. Here come the Cardinal in transition. Bit of a bump from Grace Faircloth. Stanford breaks out that pressure and they can make it so tough for teams to clear. Cornell could not get it done in that respect. But this is the second of a 2-game West Coast road trip for the Big Red. Cornell dispatching Cal 13-9 on Saturday. I believe Kelly was there on the approach, but perhaps couldn't corral it and get a clean shot off. Here comes Humphrey. Tried to find Kelly in the traffic. Brown goes back and gets it. About 30 seconds left in the player advantage. And they'll stop the clock for a moment and try to get everyone on the same page. Cornell ball, I believe Stanford got called for a foul. And off we go. So Cornell here in the Bay Area facing both Cal and Stanford. They beat the Bears 13-9 on Saturday, here facing the Cardinal today. This was a road trip that was originally on the schedule for March of 2020. Well, that didn't happen. Back to full strength. Cornell trying to get on the board for the first time today. There's Bridget Babcock, one of the captains. Can't shake Griffith. And the pass too high. And the Capana closing in defensively, but taken back by Amanda Kramer. Kramer, a senior, began her career at Northwestern. Cornell not crisp in the passing department in the early going. There's Brown. And Babcock got a bit tripped up, and Babcock is called for the foul. Cardinal quickly at the other end. Frist sizing things up. Chase back, and now Stanford has to wait for reinforcements. Frist spinning. Jay Brown dumps it quickly to Kelly. Kelly, the trick shot queen. Riley Bouvier, the freshman in the game for the first time today. She's from Hollis, New Hampshire, scored against UVA in the Cardinals season opener back on February the 10th. She'll go to the 8-meter to start here. Facing off against Ellie Horner, the Cornell keeper. Bouvier fires and hits. 3-0 Cardinal. And the freshman locked in from the 8-meter. Anyone approaching me? Nope, not really. Let me see if I can get this one past Ellie Horner. I can. Riley Bouvier accepting congratulations from her teammates. Bouvier, 3-time state champion in New Hampshire. And we talked about stick skills, especially with Ailish Kelly, and Danielle Spencer, whom you see to the right of your screen, says that Riley might actually have the best stick skills on the team. Ailish is a righty, but she's ambidextrous, so she does a lot of work on the left side. And certainly one of the big-time freshmen enjoying their first campaign here at Stanford. We might see another one as this game goes along. Peep Williams, a freshman from Binghamton, New York, who hasn't played so far this season, was out the first 3 games with a mild injury. Could see her today, particularly in the draw circle. As Danielle Spencer tries to find ways to get Peep Williams involved. Says that right now the draw circle might be the best way to do it. Meanwhile, Brown clobbers Brazier from behind. (3-0 Stanford midway through the first. Reinhardt, her first career start, but the whistle behind the play. It'll go in Stanford's direction, starting from the restraining line. Of course, the weather conditions being what they are, we'll probably see another shower or two before this one is done. That, of course, has an effect on the playing conditions. And this is a grass field, which is typical for the most part in Pac-12 country, not so much in Ivy League territory. As Cornell, not used to playing on grass. So it might make footing a bit slippery. In particularly heavy downpours, it could affect vision of the ball. And it could also affect how baggy the pocket of the stick gets. So it could affect how you throw from one teammate to the other. On the ground, taken away. Cornell defense coming up big. As Humphrey's pass was on target, but I don't think her teammate was ready for it. Caitlin Slamenko has it. Madigan Miller there defensively for the Cardinal. And off in the distance, you see Kara Ram, the senior from Ridgewood, New Jersey, in goal for Stanford. Boy, what a story she has been. On the approach, bounces and scores. Amanda Kramer with her 9th goal of the year, weaving through and putting it through. And Cornell is on the board for the first time today. Well, Kramer just beat Capana, who also lost her footing just a bit. That gave Kramer enough of an opening to fire it home and get the score for Cornell. All Ivy honorable mention last year, scored a couple of times, notching an assist against the Bears on Saturday. She actually transferred from Northwestern after the 2020 season. She played 17 games for the Wildcats, but got hurt just 3 games into her sophomore season. And so she transferred after that and came back home. She's from Manlius, New York. Her mom, Caroline, was a gymnast at Cornell. Her uncle wrestled there too. Of course, the pandemic affected all of us, but it had an especially interesting effect on Cornell. We'll probably talk about that a bit later on in the show, time and action permitting. Right now, Stanford with a 3-1 lead. Cornell scoring for its first time this afternoon. Just a few moments ago. Sarah Jakes has an assist. Ashley Humphrey has a goal. So does Annabelle Frist. And we head to the 8-meter. Annabelle Frist. Stanford very efficient in free position shots so far this season. Frist waits right at the crease and denied. Frist was trying to tiptoe at the crease, but I don't think that she kept everything on the correct side. Tried to extend that as long as she possibly could, but ran out of time and room. Mia DeCara, who's been a nice surprise for Cornell offensively. That one almost went out of the park. Katie Castiello, who provides a bit of a physical component to Cornell's attack. When we saw the whistler of the shot sail way high. Kramer bounces it again. And now it's a 3-2 game. Back-to-back goals for Cornell. Back-to-back goals for Amanda Kramer. Coming down the left side and sending it past Kara Ram. Now it's 3-2. Cornell 3-0 on the season. Looking for their first 4-0 start since 2016. They also have not beaten a ranked opponent since 2017 when they knocked off Notre Dame in the first round of the NCAA tournament that year. So look at the Cornell bench. They're probably saying, cold? This is cold? Really? It's a perfect day for us. Meanwhile, the rest of us are bundled up in multiple layers and parkas. I've got long underwear on too, so too much information. Sorry about that. Annabelle Frist off and moving with the draw. And now waits for everyone to arrive. Riley Bouvier backs up. Katie Gilbert directing the traffic. Gets a little help from Jay Brown. Underneath, Jakes turns and dumps it in for the score. Tough angle, but Jakes able to find a way. And Stanford goes up 4-2. Let's take a look at it ourselves. Underneath, Jakes with just kind of the side swipe at eye level. Sarah Jakes puts it through. Her third goal of the year. And, of course, one of the big subplots for the Cardinal this season is how Stanford is going to replace Ali Bayako, their all-time leading scorer who just absolutely lit up the scoreboard throughout the course of her brilliant career. And Annabelle Friss going to assume a lot of that burden, so to speak. Other weapons as well with Ailish Kelly, but Sarah Jakes, a fantastic finisher, she could very well be in the mix to put up big numbers this season as well. And certainly one player I'm going to be very intrigued to watch progress as the season goes along. Electric sophomore from Darien, Connecticut. Sun is out. Jakes. Humphrey. Brown. Whistle. And Brown goes to the free position. She usually likes to do the baseball bat wind up. There it is. Lets loose and sends the fastball high, caroming off the top of the fence. Brown again. Lost it. Falls to Horner. Ellie Horner has done well in the early going of this season, according to Cornell head coach Jenny Graff. Says, hey, a positive early assessment. She's been settling in early, which isn't easy. Being a youngster and with the numerous pieces that Graff has been trying defensively throughout the fall and even into the season. He's had to shuttle a couple folks around, out of position at times. DeCara. There's Costiello. Chase back a bit, but a whistle away from the ball. And everyone will get set. First free position opportunity here for Cornell. Costiello to take it. Costiello puts it through. Will it count? Yes, it will. Costiello cashes in from the 8-meter. It's a 1-point game again. Cornell bench and coaches appreciative of that. Another look. And there was contact made on Costiello's approach, and it didn't really look like she shot it. It looked like she just lost the ball, and it somehow bounced through anyway. She'll take it. Goal number 8 of the year for Katie, the senior from Bethesda, Maryland, against Colgate last week. Costiello scored 2 goals on 2 shots. How's that for efficiency? First look at Caitlin Tully in the draw circle for Cornell. Frist still in there for Stanford. Kelly and Gilbert looming on the circle for the Cardinal. Bounces towards the restraining line. And Tully wins it. Alexa Donahoe. We're inside 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Babcock goes behind. Kramer. Griffith's trying to deny Ailish Kelly in the defensive mix for the Cardinal as well. Ball on the ground and a foul against Cornell. And Stanford off and running. Anna Griffith, the senior from Summit, New Jersey. Stanford has had good moments defensively. Griffith helping to lead the charge. Caroline Mondiello with 9 caused turnovers already this year. Up top, Kelsey Myers tries to weave through the traffic, but the whistle. Myers had a couple of assists against Jacksonville, a senior from Charlottesville, Virginia. Her mom, Julie, is UVA's head coach. UVA played here, the season opener on February the 10th. Myers whips it through, top shelf. Holy smoke. 5-3 Cardinal. And don't blink or else you're going to miss this ball. Myers, zip. So Kelsey Myers with some mustard. That's her second goal this year. She's been seeing a lot more playing time so far this season than she had the past couple, and Danielle Spencer said she's earned it. Has raised her level of play throughout fall ball, and that continued into the ramp up for this season. So the Cardinal connect in the final minute of the first quarter, leading Cornell by 2. Donahoe and DeCara on the outside of the circle for Cornell. Tully tries to reach. Friss helps win it for a moment, but Tully scoops it up as Gilbert couldn't hang on. Donahoe, a sophomore from White Plains, New York. Shot clock is turned off. Less than 20 seconds remaining, first quarter. Cosiello is not afraid to let loose. 10 seconds. Chase back a bit. They tried to beat her with the bouncer again. Does not work. And the first quarter comes to a close. Stanford scored the first 3, but we've gone back and forth for the remainder of this one. But at the end of one, Cardinal lead Cornell 5-3.
Stanford 5, Cornell 3.
A promise is a trust not to be broken.
I say your name.
Whether spoken with an oath,
Do solemnly swear.
It's your first day. You know I got your back, right?
or sealed with a pinky. In 1922, a group of soldiers launched USAA with a promise to take care of their own. And after 100 years, we're still taking care of the military community and their families. That's our mission, always.
There's nothing like volunteering at the fire department.
There's nothing like hitting the waves.
But with my moderate to severe eczema, it hasn't always been easy.
Since my skin was so irritated and itchy.
And even worse with all my gear on.
Now, I'm staying ahead of my eczema.
There's a power inside all of us to live our passion. And Dupixent works on the inside to help heal your skin from within. It helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema. So adults can have long-lasting, clearer skin and fast itch relief. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor.
Healing from within is a powerful thing.
Ask your eczema specialist how Dupixent can help heal your skin from within.
Let's go.
Life
is brief.
You might like that one.
But when it's gone, love goes on and on.
A series that goes back 24 years. Cornell versus Stanford. The Big Red have won 7 of the 10 meetings between these two. Big Red won the most recent meeting in 2015, but Stanford has won 3 of the last 5. Always neat whenever the Cardinal are taking on an Ivy League school. That's what we have for you here. 1 quarter in the books, and Stanford with a 5-3 lead over Cornell. The Cardinal, the 17th ranked team in the country. Goals from Frist, Humphrey, Jakes, Myers and Bouvier for the Cardinal. 2 goals for Amanda Kramer, and 1 from Katie Costiello from the free position for Cornell. You can make out a rainbow, I think, moving from left to right, and perhaps cresting at the very top of your screen. As the rain has let up for now. Still chilly as we begin the second quarter here at Stanford. Great to have you with us. Troy Clarity here on the Pac-12 Network, along with the remainder of our Pac-12 Network crew who've done terrific work keeping everything dry at number 1 and bringing you this game. Hope you're enjoying it. Big Red win that draw. Shannon Brazier, who ran into some trouble there just before the 8-meter. Kara Ram taps the iron with her stick, gets herself ready to go. Plays it back to Kramer. And Cornell will set things up with a fresh 90. Maggie Pons has been quiet for Cornell to this point. Came into this game as the Big Reds' leading scorer with 9 goals. But Cornell able to tack on 1 more there from distance. And now it's a 1-goal game again. Another look at it ourselves as the Big Red able to work it around. And then Caitlin Slamenko underneath, finding Amanda Kramer. That's a hat trick. So 3 for Kramer. With this one coming in the first minute of the second quarter. Kramer was the team's leading scorer for Cornell last year. 35 goals. She had 3 4-goal games. One against Columbia, another against Dartmouth, and another against UConn. Those 3 games last year. All right, now Stanford trying to come up with an answer to help limit number 17 from really having a hot day on a chilly afternoon in the Bay Area. Caitlin Tully, the freshman from New Canaan, Connecticut. But it's Frist who wins that battle. Ailish Kelly hit hard. She ran smack into Grace Faircloth. Kelly says no biggie, dusts herself off, and she's ready to restart. The officials, however, as of right now, are not. Kelsey Myers coming back on the field for the Cardinal. There's a closer look at Ailish Kelly. Missed the fall with an injury. Did not play or participate at all. Did not even practice until January. But looks like she has not missed a beat from the level of play that she was able to perform at for much of the 2022 season, and maybe even a bit beyond that. Humphrey tried to find Myers in the traffic, but taken down, swatted down, Horner. Cornell trying to clear, Cardinal not making it easy. Four red shirts in pursuit before Slamenko finally brings it across. Shannon Brazier has it. Senior from Stony Brook, New York, and a couple of goals, both in the free position over in Berkeley on Saturday. She actually spent the summer captaining the China U19 team at the women's lacrosse, or the World Lacrosse Women's Championship. So Brazier was busy. She has the ball again now. China went 4-3 in that tournament, by the way. USA beat Canada in the gold medal game. Brazier with the spin. It's Cornell with the player advantage. As that shot too high. Castiello has gone high for much of her shooting selection. They put 60 seconds back on the clock. Meanwhile, Stanford's player advantage expires. As Grace Faircloth is back in. But Cornell looking for a game tire. Waits, shoots, and hits. Josie Vogel with her 6th goal of the year ties it up at 5. Vogel well marked, but finds her own space. And is able to sneak it past Kay McMahon in defense and Kara Ram in the cage. We're tied at 5. So it has been a productive road trip from a scoring standpoint for Josie Vogel with a couple of goals on Saturday against Cal. Look at the Cornell bench. Jenny Grapp, their head coach, said, look, we try to play loose. I believe this team has good energy. And she hopes that that good energy translates into them competing with joy. And then she added, hey, we're not the team that's ranked coming into this game. So they can certainly play loose and certainly play free. As they're not the team that has the number before their name coming into this one. Stanford is. And they're trying to regain some things. Meanwhile, Donahoe off and running, swatted away Ram. The rebound denied by Ram again. How big could that sequence loom? Donahoe with 2 looks and both taken away by Ram. That's why she's the Pac-12 goalkeeper of the year, folks. Chipped away, Cornell wins it back. Kramer has help. The spin move wide, Maggie Pons. Good idea all the way around. And Cornell raising its game over the last few minutes. Behind the cage. And Ram swallows that one up right at the side. That one didn't have much of a chance. It's been the question that has been vexing Danielle Spencer for much of this week. How can we get tougher as a team? And how can we win close games and pull them out? And we're still early in the second quarter, so still a lot of game left to be played. But certainly trying to figure out ways to win close games. Weren't able to do so against UVA or Jacksonville. Broke it open against Cal a couple weeks ago, the second half. Brown turns. Bouvier. Madigan Miller. Underneath, turns, shoots, and hits. That's Sophia Brindisi at the doorstep, giving the Cardinal a 6-5 lead. Well, and when Stanford is at its best, they are moving the ball very, very well. Case in point, Miller takes the defender with her and just somehow slides it to Sophia Brindisi underneath. Brindisi, a sophomore from Sudbury, Massachusetts, with the first goal for her this season. She scored twice last year, her freshman campaign. A highly heralded recruit from the Boston area, but she didn't really focus on lacrosse until her freshman year. Swimming was her thing. Back to the draw circle we go. Madigan Miller in there now for the first time for the Cardinal, facing Caitlin Tully, who was taken the last few after Annie Thomas took the first couple for Cornell. Stanford leading in the draw control category 7-5. Caitlin Slaminko wins it. Puts her head down, gets across the restraining line. Josie Vogel, now Costiello, drifting left, sprinting right, being chased back to the left. Capanda there step for step with her. Costiello still has it. Now she's looking for help. Bumped away from Vogel. Finished off by Ram. Katie McMahon, I believe, was in the area defensively to prevent Cornell from getting a clean look at it. Costiello called for the foul here. Well, and make no mistake, Stanford, a team that is looking to get over the hump this season. As Ailish Kelly is off and running, lost it, taken back by Cornell. Tully bringing it back. Ahead to Kramer. Flipped, can't find it. Sophie Aloyas, her first touch. Stanford has won the Pac-12 in back-to-back seasons and made the NCAA tournament on the strength of those tournament performances, but have not won in the first round. That's the next step for this program. A lot of the critics, a lot of the experts in lacrosse will acknowledge that. Heck, Stanford's not going to shy away from that either. Danielle Spencer herself even told me before the season began, you know, the standard has changed. Can we meet it? And can we do it without facing the pressure, putting pressure on ourselves? Meanwhile, Grace Faircloth being sent off again. She said, "What? Are you kidding me?" So Faircloth showing her second yellow card of the day. Sun is back out. Had a big downpour roll through here about 15 minutes before this game began. But it has stayed relatively dry since then. Just one light shower earlier. Well, Stanford hoping to make it rain here and get a 2-goal game again. Brown approaches the 8-meter. Tully chases her back. As Myers out left, gets it to her. Working it around Ashley Humphrey. And Humphrey let it loose, but threw it behind the cutter. Humphrey was hit, went to the turf as well. And did we have another yellow card shown here? Perhaps. And we did. Cornell already down one player, and now they're going to be down two. So a timeout has been called. 6:46 to go, second quarter. Stanford with a 6-5 lead. Cardinal scored the first 3 goals of this game. Danielle Spencer says we've had close games against good teams, but she admits she's disappointed by the results and says the team took that loss to Jacksonville last week quite hard. How did they learn to win a tight game? And then she added, hey, if I could play today, if I could play in this game, I'd be on a tear. And I think she's holding folks accountable on that far side right now. In that player huddle, Spencer, in her 4th year as the head coach at Stanford, came to the farm from Dartmouth, where she was the head coach there for 3 years. And of course, Dartmouth in the Ivy Leagues. She's no stranger to squaring off against Cornell. Spencer also from New York State, so she is definitely no stranger to Jenny Grapp and that Cornell program. But she was, talking to her before this game, she was some parts frustrated, but I think more parts fired up and ready to get this thing going. And I kind of got the sense come away from that conversation that the team had kind of felt the same way as well. And I asked her, you know, it's been a full week between games. In a sense, is it better to have to stew over that kind of result, or would you rather have the squad had to do a quick turnaround and play again a couple days later? She said no. And with that long plane ride involved, you know, the kids didn't get back until 1 a.m. on Tuesday when they landed at SFO, didn't get back to campus until 2 a.m. Some of them having 8 o'clock classes on Tuesday morning. They didn't quite get normalized with their body temperatures and body rhythms until Thursday or so. So she was very happy to have the rest of the week cleared out and free from competition in preparation for this game against Cornell. So while Stanford stewed over the past week, got ready for this game against Cornell, the Big Red are feeling pretty good about things overall. Last yellow card was shown on Marissa Stafford. So Stafford out for 2 minutes. Faircloth still out for 1:10 more. So Stanford up 2 players. Situational lacrosse. Can Stanford cash in here? Does the Cardinal have the numbers? There's Humphrey. Oh, I thought she might give that one a go. Finds Frist instead. Gilbert, the shake and the bake, and then the whistle. Katie Gilbert from Lake Oswego, Oregon. Her parents are Dartmouth alums, so some Ivy League ties in that family. Gilbert, whistle before the shot. And she go before a violation of some sort on Cornell. So Shannon Brazier being asked to excuse herself and go behind the play. Ellie Horner, 2 saves so far for Cornell. Won't get this one. Katie Gilbert floats it past. And Stanford makes it a 2-goal game once again. Gilbert off and running and just slotted it past Horner for the score. Goal number 7 on the year for Gilbert. Lake Oswego, Oregon. You don't necessarily think of that part of the country where you get good talent in lacrosse, but there have certainly been some terrific players who've come from up that way and had big impacts in the Pac-12. Many of them have played for the Oregon Ducks, but also up and down the conference as well. USC has had their share of players coming from Oregon in particular. So who says all the great players have to come from the Mid-Atlantic seaboard? Cardinals still with the player advantage. As Marissa Stafford continues to serve her time for her yellow card. Big scramble. Cornell comes away with it. Less than a minute to go with the player advantage. Stanford with 7 goals. Each of them scored by different players to this point. So the Cardinal sharing the scoring. Stanford last year, of course, first in the Pac-12 in goals per game, first in shots on goal percentage, first in team free position percentage. As Cornell just trying to bleed off the clock, bleed down the player advantage, and get back up to full strength. They've got 16 seconds left to accomplish that goal. Tully just walking back and forth. Actually, that's Pons. And now off we go. Pons. Deflected. Pons gets it back. Back to full strength. As Ram knocked the shot attempt away from Maggie Pons, junior from Massachusetts. Underneath at the doorstep, tried to swipe it but couldn't hang on to it. Fairly dangerous pass from Kelly. Back to Ram. Ram with a long throw, bounces up, and eventually taken by Gilbert. It's Caroline Mondiello. Dishes it and then goes back behind the line. Kelsey Myers. Back to Gilbert again. Sarah Jakes. On the ground for a moment, Humphrey gets it back. Wants a call and finally gets it. And there's another yellow card against Cornell. Stanford's second. So Stanford heads off once again. She just got back on the field just a couple minutes ago after serving a yellow card. Stanford's sister Camille played lacrosse at USC, by the way. So Pac-12 ties in the Stanford family. So another player advantage for Stanford. They were able to cash in with a 2-player advantage earlier, but could not tack on another one when the 1-player advantage continued. Everyone getting set, and away we go. Hit from behind and taken by Horner. Oh, Sarah Jakes, who got the worst end of that deal. And a timeout has been called, I believe, by Cornell with inside 3 minutes to go in the first half. And Stanford, once again, with a chance to go up and put one in the back of the cage. Players up, but unable to do it on that possession. So another empty possession for the Cardinal in a situational possession. Stanford 1-2. They're already 1-0 in Pac-12 play as they met the California Golden Bears 12 days ago right here in this very building and beat Cal 20-8. That game got moved up at Stanford's request because Danielle Spencer wanted a little bit more room to prepare for an unspecified opponent in late March. That game between Stanford and Cal here at Larry Q. Kagan would have taken place in late March. She wouldn't divulge us exactly which opponent she wanted a little more room to prepare against, but a look at the calendar reveals that Stanford's at Northwestern on March 26th, and that is their only game of that weekend. So probably wanted a little bit more room to prepare for the Wildcats. Of course, Northwestern is Danielle Spencer's alma mater, the alma mater, it seems, of all the coaches, or at least a lot of them, in this sport anyway. But Stanford able to move that game, have that game against Cal move to early in the season. And so they right now are 1-0 in Pac-12 play, and that will continue to be the case for the next couple of weeks anyway, until Pac-12 play begins in the middle of March. Cornell 3-0. They begin Ivy League play this upcoming week, March 5th. They head out to Dartmouth, a place which Danielle Spencer is very familiar. Then they'll head out to Columbia next week. So conference play just around the corner for Cornell. You look at Annie Thomas, one of the defensive stalwarts for Cornell. Does much of her work in the draw circle, but just around the midway through the first quarter, much of those duties have been handled by Caitlin Tully. Back to action. Stanford with the player advantage, but Cornell with the ball. Mia DeCara looking around. Finally finds Caitlin Slaminko. You see Kelly and Mondiello defensively for Stanford. DeCara, sophomore, Cross River, New York. Had a hat trick against Albany last week. Kramer has a hat trick today. She has the ball now. Cornell playing against the clock more than anything else right now. But the shot clock down to 13, so they're gonna have to get something done here. DeCara lost it with help from Kelly. 7 on the shot clock. DeCara tried to give that one a ride. And that ball rolls well out of bounds. The horn did go off, so it has a shot clock violation against Cornell. So Stanford able to hold off the Big Red on that possession. Katie McMahon takes it across. Stanford can be one of the more explosive teams in the country. Haven't necessarily seen that to this point. Although Brown trying to do something about it, and she puts it through for the score. Jay Brown had a lane to the cage, and she took it and put it through for the score. 8-5 Stanford. An open lane, right to the doorstep. Bang. Jay Brown, the senior from Dallas, Texas, is on the board with her 5th goal of the year. And she becomes the 8th different goal scorer for the Cardinal in this half. Brown, Frist, Humphrey, Jakes, Gilbert, Brindisi, Myers, and Bouvier. Those are your goal scorers for Stanford today. With 49 seconds to go. Montiello trying to scoop it up. Frist gets it back. "30 seconds. Jakes up top. Gilbert. 10 seconds. Dumps it for Frist. Can she let it go? She can. It's too high. And the Cardinals don't get another crack at it before the half comes to an end. But Stanford does lead Cornell 8-5. A team effort in the goal column for the Cardinal. Halftime on the farm, and our halftime festivities in just a moment, right here on the Pac-12 Network.
Angie's List is now Angie, and it's easier than ever to get your projects done right. With Angie, you can connect with top pros and see ratings and reviews. And when you book and pay through Angie, you're covered by our happiness guarantee. Check out Angie.com today. Angie, and done.
What's a Walt Disney World thrill feel like? It's like, and it feels even better together. Disney thrills us like.
One shining moment can cement their legacy, but only one team can take home the hardware. Who will rise to the top? The 2023 Pac-12 Men's Basketball Tournament, presented by New York Life, March 8th through 11th on Pac-12 Network.
Pac-12 Our Stories takes you behind the curtain to bring you the most compelling and emotional stories from the Conference of Champions. Watch the latest episode anytime on Pac-12 Now, presented by Chime. When the weather gets cold, chill out with the Conference of Champions. Men's and women's basketball.
This team has a lot of what it takes.
Wrestling, women's gymnastics, stunning, top-ranked teams, top-notch talent. They have a chance to win it this year from the courts to the mats, down the slopes, and on ice.
Here's a shot, it gets through!
We've got you covered. You want goosebumps? Keep it on Pac-12 Network all winter long.
Here's to the healthy heroes, the gluten-free gladiators, the plant-based pioneers. This is our refuge, where we forage fresh produce, delight in the delicious, covet the convenience, and raise our banner for organic ambitions, tasty adventures, and high-quality conquests. Find your healthy at Sprouts Farmers Market.
Skies are clearing over Stanford, and we are halfway through between the Cardinal and the Big Red. Stanford with an 8-5 lead. Stanford 3 games into this season, which they try to defend their back-to-back Pac-12 crowns. Let's go through the numbers. Stanford out shooting their opponents 41-34. You, of course, would expect that with all the weaponry and firepower that the Cardinal boast. They've been very efficient from the free position. 16 of 22 entering today, 3 for 5 so far this afternoon. How about this? Caroline Montiello done very well forcing turnovers 9 through 3 games, third in the NCAA and tops in the Pac-12. So the Cardinal doing terrific things, but trying to figure out ways to win close games and to toughen up in some situations as well. Stanford trying to find a way to make it 2-2 today and to keep it rolling in the weeks ahead. They hop on the plane and head down to San Diego, where they will face the top 10 ranked Stony Brook squad. That game to be played on the neutral site down in San Diego. Here come the Great Danes. Albany will come to the farm on March the 12th. And then Pac-12 play will resume for Stanford on March 17th, but begin for just about everyone else as they will hop on the plane and head to Boulder first, and then Eugene, that Colorado-Oregon two-step, And then look at that, March 26th to close out the month at number 3 Northwestern. So plenty of big tests ahead for the Stanford Cardinal. Halfway through a big test here today, Stanford on top by 3. Highlights in just a moment.
You're watching Pac-12 Network, where champions play. Available on Xfinity.
There's nothing like hitting the waves.
There's nothing like volunteering, but my moderate to severe eczema can make it hard.
Now, I'm staying ahead of it.
Dupixent helps heal your skin from within, so you can have clearer skin and noticeably less itch. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about Dupixent.
I think it's important to celebrate Black history because Black people have done a lot for this country and it should be recognized.
It's just super important to talk about the culture and highlight the people that have come before me and have made it possible for me to be here today.
Being able to be a Black man in America is hard sometimes. So for any Black man or any Black woman to be successful, we gotta praise that.
I think it's very important to be aware and educated about Black history because I think we all need education.
To me, Black history is really important. I think everybody should learn about it, just to give some compassion to all the Black people about what they've been through in the past.
Black history is important because I think for so long, the accomplishments of so many Black people haven't been recognized. So recognizing those and just amplifying the platform of the Black community is something that we all need to work on, and that should be a priority.
I need business communication that works anywhere I do. Some of the tools may work outside the office, but others definitely don't. Sort of a mess for IT. That's where Nextiva comes in. Nextiva has powerful, easy-to-use communication tools, which means deeper connections with your customers. And you can use these tools anywhere, the office, home, and everywhere in between. So no matter where you are, Nextiva keeps you connected with your customers and your teammates.
Five at the half here at Larry Q. Kagan Stadium. The 17th ranked Cardinal leading the Cornell Big Red. Troy Clarity here on the Pac-12 Network. In case you're just now joining us, let's get you up to speed on what you may have missed so far in this one, as Stanford took a early 3-0 lead, but then that's when Cornell started to get going behind the efforts of Amanda Kramer. Already has a hat trick so far in this one. The first couple one, getting a couple of bouncers to scoot past Kara Ram. And in this one, the Big Red's first goal of only 2 in the second quarter. Kramer from longer distance, connecting up top, getting her a hat trick. Meanwhile, for Stanford, Riley Bouvier, the freshman, getting it done and giving Stanford that aforementioned 3-0 lead midway through the first quarter. And then Stanford was able to get a little bit of momentum towards the end of the second quarter. That's Jay Brown with the final goal of the first half, giving Stanford an 8-5 lead. 8 goal scorers already for Stanford in this one. No one has more than one, including Sophia Brandisi, as she put it through to make it a 6-5 game and give Stanford a lead with 9:41 to go in the second quarter. Numbers from this one, Kara Ram with 5 saves already in this one. Stanford ahead in draw controls. Turnovers, I'm sure Danielle Spencer would love to see that number go down fortuitously in the second half. But of course, that is only the half of it. Card up by 3. Second half begins in just a moment.
Here's to the healthy heroes, the gluten-free gladiators, the plant-based pioneers. Let us raise our banner for high-quality conquests. Find your healthy at Sprouts Farmers Market.
We answered some questions on Angie. Contractors pop up on your screen.
You can read other people's experiences. To me, Angie is a time saver.
I scheduled it right then and there.
Get started at Angie.com today.
Premier Bank, official bank of the Pac-12 Conference.
Businesses across America are struggling. Every day brings more bad news. Forget the headlines. Times might be tough, but good leaders will get us through this. Good leaders challenge people to be their best. They care. They listen. They show up for their teams. Nothing motivates employees more than a great boss. That's why Paycor builds HR software for them. Paycor, empowering leaders.
There's nothing quite as magical as staying at a Disney Resort hotel. So imagine complimentary rides to and from the park, even extra time with your family in the park. And right now, you can save up to 25% on rooms at select Disney Resort hotels. So if you're not staying here, just think what you might be missing.
Pac-12 Women's Lacrosse is brought to you by TaxAct. File for less and get more. And by Watch Sports, the official live event guide of the Pac-12. Download today. Well, those are the seniors for Pac-12 women's basketball. Prechtel, Jones, Jump, and Beliebe, the entire squad. Yes, indeed, they share the Pac-12 championship with Utah. Stanford is the #1 seed in the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament down in Las Vegas coming up later on this week. So Pac-12 champions all around the farm, including Stanford women's lacrosse. That's what we're here for there to Kagan Stadium. Great to have you with us here, Troy Clarity, on a rainy, chilly day, although it's remained mostly dry throughout much of this game. Stanford with an 8-5 lead as we begin the second half. Amanda Kramer, a hat trick for Cornell. 8 goals for Stanford, 8 different goal scorers for the Cardinal. And here's a headline. Our first look at Peep Williams, the freshman for the Cardinal. She is in the draw circle making her Stanford debut. The freshman from Binghamton, New York, was a finalist for the USA Today Lacrosse National High School Player of the Year last year. Frisk cleans up the draw. Daniel Spencer told us that Peep was good to go after missing the first 3 games with a mild injury, but if we saw her, we would likely see her in the draw circle. That would be the best chance for her to get involved. And we just saw that right now. Meanwhile, Katie Gilbert getting involved quickly. 9-5 Cardinal. Gilbert ranging through unmarked and just said, hey, let me just give it a go myself. Carries it inside the 8, and then whips it through. So Gilbert, the first Cardinal player with 2 goals in this game. And wasting little time, just 26 seconds, putting the Cardinal up by 4. Stanford bench appreciating that. Peep Williams once again. Daniel Spencer says that Peep is bigger and stronger than Annabelle Frist. As bold of a statement as that might be to say. Also says that Williams has the hardest shot on the team. Mondiello cracks it away. Tully tried with the kick save. And Stanford trying to get going in the opposite direction. What, bigger and stronger than Annabelle Frist? That's saying something. And once they get Williams more worked into the attack, into the offense, into the flow of things, it'll be very telling to see how far she progresses as the season goes along. We've already seen one of the heralded freshmen for Stanford, Riley Bouvier. She scored earlier in this one to make it a 3-0 contest midway through the first quarter. Frist from the 8-meter. Pulls back, approaches again, and may have been caught between 2 thoughts there. Should I shoot? Should I dish to a teammate? Looks like she tried to dish to Gilbert behind the cage. The pass inaccurate. Alexis Reinhardt fighting off Jay Brown and Annabelle Frist. Frist had it going for a moment, but I think she's about to end up in the book. She is. So Frist comes off with the yellow card. We have certainly seen our share of those in this game. And Cornell will be a player up as a result. Cornell's head coach Jenny Grapp, of course, the longtime head coach of that program in Ithaca in her 26th year. She's taken the Big Red to 5 NCAA tournaments. Underneath, Kramer denied. Kara Ram doing Kara Ram type things. Just so anticipatory of where the ball is potentially going to go. Madigan Miller hangs on to that throw. Jakes. Cut off. Back up top, Kelsey Myers, now to Jay Brown. Cornell, of course, no strangers to Danielle Spencer. We mentioned that she was the head coach at Dartmouth before coming here to Stanford. And she said, I know this team. I know this Cornell team. Nobody else on this squad does. So she was glad to be able to watch the tape, had the team check out Cornell's game against Cal on Saturday. They watched it as a team and got some initial scouting reports there. That's a foul on Stanford. So it's going to go in Cornell's direction. It was a hard collision down there as a couple folks ended up hitting the deck. We'll show you what we have. Oh, wow. That was a big-time body check. Jakes and Chloe Maister. See that kind of stuff on the hockey rink. They're going to reset the 90-second shot clock and have everyone go back and restart the play from behind the cage where originally things were going to get going before that whistle put everything to a halt. Chloe Maister, junior from Fort Lauderdale. A U.S. Lacrosse All-American in high school, made her first career start against Colgate on the 21st. Cornell with wins over Albany, Colgate, and Cal. And building up to the Ivy League tournament in early May 5th to May 7th, as that league looks to get more than one team into the tournament. Cornell last year finished 8-8 and 4-3, so barring a terrific performance in the Ivy League tournament, and barring a winning performance in the Ivy League tournament last year, they were not going to get in the big dance. But the Ivy League trying to get more than one team in the mix in the tournament this year. Well, Kara Ram so far has had 6 saves in this one, 28 saves so far in 2023. That is second most in the Pac-12. And it was intriguing hearing Danielle Spencer's thoughts on Kara Ram, and as good of a season as Ram had last year, Spencer says that she'll be even better this year because of Samantha Jackalone, one of the new assistant coaches for Stanford on the staff this year. She heads up the Cardinals' defensive efforts, and so far she likes what she has seen with how Samantha has been coaching Kara Ram. And we've seen Kara Ram make typical plays for her on a couple of occasions already here this afternoon. Slaminko working it back. Brazier had it for a moment, gets it back. Alois had to reach for that one. Brazier trying to fight through the trees. Shannon Brazier scored 4 goals against Albany in the Big Red season opener. She goes to the 8-meter straight ahead. The approach, the shot, and the score. Shannon Brazier from the 8-meter. And that's Cornell's first goal in almost exactly 15 minutes of game time. Another look at it. Goal number 9 for Brazier this season. So that makes it 9-6. Stanford still with the lead, but Cornell, their last goal previous to this one was with 11:50 to go in the second quarter. So that one coming 15 minutes and 14 seconds between goals for the Big Red. They're trying to find a bit of an extra gear offensively. Williams versus Tully in the draw circle. Frist lurking on the outside for Stanford. So is Amanda Kramer for Cornell. Bit of a slip by Brazier. Allows Mondiello to come away with it. Given the rain that we've had throughout the day, thought that footing might be a bit of an issue at times. It certainly was there for Brazier. Frist. Gilbert backing up. Brown waving it around. And hit from behind. Boy, I thought Brown was gonna let loose at some point along that run. She probably thought she was gonna let loose at some point too, but just didn't quite have the shot that maybe she was looking for. Stanford 3 for 5 on free position shots this afternoon. No shot here, but a whistle beforehand. All right, take 2. And Brown takes it to the cage for the score. Jay Brown on a dead sprint. Put Stanford back up on top by 4. Well, might have been a bit hesitant on her last run across the crease. Not so hesitant this time around. It results in Brown's second goal today and her 6th of the year. Her real first name is Juliet, but you can call her Jay. She's had tough luck with injuries in her career. She tore her ACL 7 games into the 2021 season, but she has been playing very well so far in 2023. The expression on Danielle Spencer's face, unchanged. 10-6. Stanford winning the draw control category now 11-7. That one pops up. Frist tried to reach. Kramer had it for a moment and will continue to go in Cornell's direction. And the whistle before that throw down the sideline, or bouncing towards the sideline, so bring it back. And Cornell off and running. The Ivy League did not compete in athletics in the 2020-2021 academic calendar year because of the COVID pandemic. Of course, hit everywhere very hard. Pac-12 was able to have a 2021 season. Ivy League did not play at all. Turning. And a whistle. And I asked Jenny Grapp what it took to get the program restarted and back up to speed for 2022. And she admitted that stepping away from a competitive environment was hard, but her biggest challenge was helping the team regain its confidence because everyone wanted so badly for everything to go so well. They put pressure on themselves. And when things didn't go so well, they would react negatively to it because they wanted to place so much pressure on everything going right in 2022. And that didn't happen. So the team was slowly recover from that. After the violation, Stanford will take it back the other way. So Grapp admitted that for much of last year, a lot of the team placed a lot of pressure on itself when perhaps it didn't really need to. Now, of course, add to that this, and quite honestly, I wasn't aware of this. Obviously, in the Ivy League, there are no athletic scholarships given. But I didn't realize this either. In the Ivy League, you have to exhaust your athletic eligibility in your first 4 years academically. So no such things as red shirts. Kelly tried to find it, perhaps pull off a trick shot, but she had everything but the ball. I believe Myers has been shown a green card, perhaps. Boy, that would have been a trick shot for the ages if Kelly had been able to hang on to that one. But as we take another look at it ourselves, Gilbert hitting Kelly, and yeah, I think she was actually going to try the behind the wicket shot. She's done that before. Went between the wickets against Colorado for a goal last year. So that's a shot she can hit. But again, she had everything except the ball. Meanwhile, in the Ivy League, you have to exhaust all your eligibility athletically in your first 4 years academically. So there are no red shirts. There are no fifth-year seniors. And as a result, there are also no graduate student athletes either. So when the shutdown hit, as a result, there were more than a few players on the Cornell squad who didn't want to burn a year of eligibility. So they stopped out of school for the year and returned in the 2020-2022 season, an academic calendar year. So being away from a competitive environment and a structured environment as well, I'm sure that was a pretty hard reset for many of those young ladies. On the ground, Vogel tries to get it back. Ram had a crack at it, but couldn't hang on to it. It's Mondiello who swipes it away from everyone else. Frist looking for a little bit of room. Three-shirt swarm. Block or charge? They're going to call a charge. One of my favorite games on Twitter. We'll show you what we have. It's Frist coming down the lane. And bang, smack into Brazier. Initially called a foul on Stanford, but it has since been reversed. Meanwhile, Ailish Kelly has been on the bench, so Cornell has the player advantage, but right now Stanford has the ball. So intriguing. Obviously, things are done very differently in the Ivy League, and things are done differently at Stanford as well. The so-called door number one, the admissions department that runs the show, unlike just about every place else in collegiate athletics. You don't get into Stanford, that's it. That's the end of the story. But it was intriguing to hear Jenny Grapp and how she got the program restarted after they didn't compete at all in 2021. Whistle away from the ball. First goes to the 8-meter. Caitlin Slamenko has to go behind everyone. Frist with a bit of a wind-up. The shot, and right into Horner's stick. Ellie Horner with a big moment for Cornell. Big red squad that is in need of maybe something to get them going. Meanwhile, Stanford would love to be able to go on a big run here and find a knockout punch to get even more distance and separation. Sophie Ward comes into the game and gets her first touch. She approaches and bounces it wide. That was actually Kramer with the shot, but Sophie Ward is on the field for Cornell. How about that? Tic-tac-toe. Katie Costiello. And it's 10-7. The Big Red back on the board. Well, doesn't get much better than this from a ball movement standpoint. And with the quickness, how about this? That's great stuff from Josie Vogel. Yeah, I'd celebrate that one too. So Costiello with her second goal of the day. Had 5 against Brown last year. Cornell says, yeah, that's what we need. How about a couple more of those? I mentioned Sophie Ward coming into the game a few moments ago for Cornell. She's a senior from Ipswich, Massachusetts. By the way, her sister Charlotte played lacrosse right here at Stanford. 2014 to 2017, I remember her. So this game potentially splitting the Ward household. Bounces to Gilbert. And back to Ram. A little bit of pressure. Kelly back in the game. Behind Griffith, and she just runs out of room. DeCara and Donahoe sending Griffith to the turf. Frist to Kelly. Backing up, taking it to the near side. That was Kelsey Myers. Jay Brown's been active. Splits the defense. Can't get off a clean shot, though. Nifty run. Jakes. Humphrey. Down low. Off the mark. Had a good look at it. Shot clock reset to 60. Cutters have been hard to find for Stanford in this game. Cornell has been collapsing on them for much of this contest and doing a good job of limiting Stanford's options in that category. Humphrey. And a whistle against Stanford. Well, Cornell trying to tip the game in its favor. At least the momentum, anyway. Got a little work to do before they can fully tip it in their favor on the scoreboard. There's Sophie Ward. Slamenko. Out to Ward again. Ava Butts is out there for Cornell. She wears number 31. Slamenko, right to Ram. First comes up, shows for the ball. after Ram makes her 7th save of the game. Griffith maintains her balance. Ava Butts chasing her back. Danny Jacobstein in the game for the first time. I believe this is her season debut for Stanford this year. Jakes. Sarah Jakes, point blank. Stanford on top 11-7. Well, Sarah Jakes in high school was known as a terrific finisher, one of the best in the business. How about that? Sarah's second goal of the day.
Scored by number 7, Sarah Jakes.
U.S. Lacrosse Magazine called her the quintessential finisher. She actually originally committed to Northwestern and then switched things around, decommitted. Now here she is on the farm. So I'm sure that road trip out to Evanston in late March might be a bit interesting for her. Her older sister, Nicole. Actually, Ashley Humphrey has an older sister named Nicole. I'm looking at the wrong line here, but she plays at North Carolina. Our first look at Dakota Uwe in the draw circle for Stanford. That's Kylie Gelbert. Our first look at her as well, as she took the draw for Cornell. Passing a bit sloppy here to begin. Butts running out of room. And Stanford gets the call. Both Capana and Griffith. Just double teaming. Getting it done defensively. Inside 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Miller brings it across. Frisk, just one goal so far. On the ground, scooped up save by Miller. Ashley Humphrey, no assists so far. Frisk, 15 to shoot. And right at the doorstep, the Cardinal finish. Danny Jacobstein. 12-7 Cardinal. And it started off with a terrific run by Jay Brown. And then a nifty pass just drops it off for Jacobstein.
The assist to number 2, Jay Brown.
So Danny Jacobstein becomes the 9th different goal scorer for Stanford this afternoon. Hugs and congratulations all the way around on the Stanford bench. A high five as well. Uwe versus Gelbert again in the draw circle. Kylie Gelbert, a sophomore from Victor, New York. That's just outside of Rochester. It's felt like Rochester here for much of the afternoon. Which way are we going? In Cornell's direction. Caitlin Tully finally realizes that she gave it to Jay Brown, shoveled it to her, because she thought it was going to be Stanford's ball. Motoring down the far sideline. Less than 20 seconds to go, third quarter. Lost it after the approach. Nothing but red shirts there. Mondiello comes away with the trophy. And time expires in the third quarter. Stanford outscoring Cornell 4-2 in the third quarter. Up by 3 at the half, up by 5 at the end of 3. Let's go.
Life is brief,
You might like that one.
but when it's gone, love goes on and on.
You really have to be determined and have that athlete's mindset.
Every day coming in, doing what you got to do, giving 100%.
And you're certainly not going to win just on your ranking. You got to bring it.
That's just really what separates being good from being great.
Let's go. Set your jaw. Time to go to work.
It is one of the most amazing scenes in all of college athletics.
It was a brilliant display of competitiveness, and that's what this play stands for.
The things that they battled through, and to come out here and have a dominating performance, it means something.
I love this. I want to go back to college.
Have we got a treat for you today?
This is a monster waiting to explode.
One shining moment can cement their legacy, but only one team can take home the hardware. Who will rise to the top? The 2023 Pac-12 Men's Basketball Tournament, presented by New York Life, March 8th through 11th on Pac-12 Network.
Well, who will be this year's iconic team that outshines the rest? Find out at this year's Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament presented by New York Life. Coverage begins Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. on the Pac-12 Network, or download and stream live wherever you might be with Pac-12 Now. The unmistakable sights of the Las Vegas Strip. The women's basketball world in the Pac-12 will be converging upon there later on this week. Stanford, the 1 seed, they will await the winner of Washington and Oregon, and that game will take place on Thursday. We're here at the Farm. Start of the fourth quarter. Stanford women's lacrosse leading Cornell 12-7. Troy Clarity here. Great to have you with us. It's been chilly, but for the most part, it has been dry throughout the game. Big downpours earlier in the day. Maybe a brief shower rolled through midway through the first quarter, but we have remained rain-free since then. As we begin the fourth, and Stanford wins the draw. The Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament in Las Vegas, always such a terrific event. I checked my email at halftime. I see that the Pac-12 Football Media Day has been announced, July 21st in Las Vegas. I told them to get a bigger venue with Deion Sanders in the mix. Meanwhile, Ailish Kelly with a big stage, finding the back of the cage and putting Stanford on top by 6. Cardinal on a 3-0 run and starting to hit the afterburners on the Big Red. Well, Kelsey Myers kind of flying under the radar a little bit, but becoming terrific in the assist category. We've seen that from her throughout the course of the season. Of course, we always see Ailish Kelly finding ways to get into the back of the net. And Stanford wastes no time scoring to begin the fourth quarter. Took them just 26 seconds to score in the third quarter. Takes them 28 seconds to score here in the fourth. So Kelsey Myers with 2 assists for the Cardinal. That leads Stanford today. Ashley Humphrey still looking for her first. That is certainly a bit of a potential news flash. On the ground and rolling. And frisked on the turf. Stanford really starting to, or hoping to put this game out of reach for Cornell. Frisk scored the first goal of the game. Humphrey had Ailish Kelly going towards the crease mouth. Kept it instead. Resets to Brown. Humphrey had assists in every single game last year. Had at least 2 in every game last year. None so far today. Of course, she had 9 in that Pac-12 championship game against Arizona State. That's the very definition of a worm burner right there. Jakes to Kelly for the score. Cardinal clicking on all cylinders. And that's actually Kelsey Myers who gets on the board. How about this move? And oh, she does find Ailish Kelly. Put the spin on everyone. Faked out the defense and the announcer. Cardinal now doubling up the Big Red. Back-to-back goals for Ailish Kelly. We told you about her at the start of the show. And really, her trademark is just terrific stick skills and the ability to hit and make trick shots around the world, wraparounds, between the legs, doesn't matter. She can literally score any way you want to. As the temperatures are dropping, the sky is starting to get darker, and the lead getting larger for the Cardinals. Annie Thomas wins the draw. I believe that's the first time we've seen her as part of the draw control unit since the first quarter. Castiello pulls up. Donahoe pokes it forward. Ram lost it for a second, but it's right at her feet, so no harm. Throwing to Frist. And she's on the move. A couple of white shirts in hot pursuit, and a couple more to meet her as she gets across the line. Brindisi checked away. Boy, terrific work by Ellie Horner. From Richmond, Virginia, St. Catherine's School in the 804 area code. You might remember Stanford's keeper the last few years, Trudy Gratton, who was also from Richmond. She went to Freeman High School, which is where a lot of my wife's family went to high school. How about that? Small world, isn't it? Ward to the Cara. Brindisi hanging in there defensively. Goes back behind the cage. Josie Vogel. Vogel gets it back, gets a little bit of room. Tried to thread the needle, found Mondiello instead. Well, that would have been a tough pass to pull off. Tried for it, but found Mondiello's stick instead. Foul called on Stanford. Capana has to step back, and now it's straightforward. Kara Ram in the cage. Sophie Ward at the 8-meter. Officials, I believe, looking back at the scorer's table, and I believe they're making sure that the shot clock is where it needs to be. Was at 76. Now they've set it back to 28. Boy, the shot clock was such a welcome development in the sport when they installed it a few years ago. And there's 28 seconds left. And now further consultation between the officials. Stanford taking on an Ivy League school, always special whenever that happens. Of course, Stanford competitive with the Ivies academically. It's always extra special when they meet in athletic competition. Ward, too high. .20 to shoot. DeCara, close range, hits it. Oh, Shannon Brazier with the open window and finds the goal for Cornell, 14-8. Drew the two defenders, left it for Brazier. And Brazier low and outside, but got it to go. So Brazier on the board for her second time today. Jenny Grapp calls Shannon the team's most experienced player. And not just collegiately, we mentioned earlier in the show, she was actually part of the World Lacrosse Women's Championship. Played on the team from China. (14-8) early fourth quarter. Stanford with the lead. Cardinal have had the lead throughout. It was tied at 5 early in the second quarter. But Sophia Bradisi with a goal to make it 6-5, and Stanford has not relinquished the lead since then. Humphrey to Jakes. Earlier it was Jake to Humphrey for the goal. Humphrey sizing it up, fires and hits. Don't blink, you might miss it. Ashley Humphrey from distance with mustard. 15-8 Cardinal. So let's see if we can slow this down just a little bit, just to give everyone a fair chance to pick up the track of this ball. Waiting, zip. Ashley Humphrey with an emphatic score. And she may not have an assist so far in this game, but she still scored twice and has still found ways to get points for the Cardinal. So Ashley Humphrey getting congratulations from her squad. Well, intriguing to note when you look at the composition of both the coaching staffs for Stanford and Cornell, a couple of familiar faces. Taylor Pinzone for Northwestern. Wait, she played for Arizona State last year. And Emily Monroe for Stanford. Hey, wait a minute. She played for the Sun Devils last year as well. Yes, that's right. Two recent graduates from Arizona State. Of course, Taylor Pinzone played her undergraduate career at Northwestern before coming down to Tempe and playing for Tim McCormick. And that crew last year that faced Stanford in the Pac-12 championship game. But Pinzone, an assistant coach for Cornell, and Monroe, an assistant coach for Stanford, and they're getting jobs right out of graduation. It's really neat to see, and Danielle Spencer noted that it's great to have a young coach in Emily Monroe, someone who can kind of help relate to the team perhaps on a different level that perhaps is even more of an important characteristic now given everything that student athletes have been through the last couple of years. But she also admitted that, hey, I don't have to jump into drills anymore. That frees me up a little bit as a coach to focus on other things. So Emily Monroe joining the coaching staff at Stanford, and Taylor Pinzone joining the coaching staff for Cornell. And Jenny Grapp liked her energy, liked her maturity, and above all, she said, we knew that she really wanted to coach. Not everyone does. Some folks, especially as young coaches, get into the profession and they give it a year or two, and it's a bit of a grind. It's not easy. You don't get paid a lot, especially depending upon what level you are coaching on. You might not even get paid at all, which of course means benefits and all those sorts of other things too. So it's really, really difficult to retain young coaches. So you really have to want it. Taylor Pinzone did. And it was a lot of fun watching Pinzone and Monroe do what they did for the Arizona State Sun Devils last year, helping to take that program. That was a program that just got founded in 2018. And there they were last year in 2022 playing for a Pac-12 championship. Terrific story in Tempe. They're kind of off to a tough start to begin this season. They've played some good competition, but Arizona State with a new coach, Tim McCormick, now Johns Hopkins. Congrats to him on that. All alone, unmarked, one-on-one, Ram beats Pons. Ram denies the breakaway and continuing a terrific trend defensively for the Cardinal. Offense hasn't been bad either. Sarah Jakes, give her a hat trick and give Stanford a 16-8 lead. Well, defense turning to offense. A fantastic save, one-on-one. Pons denied by Ram, and it finished at the other end with this. Jay Brown, the dish, and Sarah Jakes with the finish. Mentioned earlier in the show, as many folks outside the program try to figure out where Stanford's goals are going to come from without Ali Bayako, even though they do still have Annabelle Frist and Ailish Kelly, don't forget about Sarah Jakes. Jakes, the redshirt sophomore, who could be asked to play a much larger role this year. Be called upon to be even more of a scoring option than she was last year. She did score 20 goals last season. Stanford on top 16-8. Who's going to get there first? Tully gets it for Cornell. At the side. And a whistle. It was 47 degrees when we started here. It's 44 degrees right now, mostly cloudy. Unseasonably chilly here in the Bay Area. The Kara Ram's been red hot of late. Let's see what she can do here, facing a potential free position opportunity for Cornell. Ward. Nope. Kara Ram, the brick wall once again. Josie Vogel helps force the turnover. Gets it back. Kramer weaving. And Kara Ram cannot be solved. Ram again. Stopping the one-on-one, and now 2 point-blank denials. I think that she's in the zone right now. 10th save of the night. She had 8 against Jacksonville last week, but 14 against Virginia in the season opener. And Jakes helps pick it back up. Cornell trying to catch up with it and hang on to it. They do. waiting for help. It's Bryn McDonald. Appropriately dressed for the weather. Jakes takes it back. To Kelly. Wide. Well, I imagine a lot of things go through your mind as a keeper when you turn and you look and you see that young lady barreling down on you with the ball in her stick. Many of them probably unrepeatable for a family audience such as we have here on the Pac-12 Network. Kelly from the 8-meter. Potential hat trick on the line here. But nope, pulls it back instead. Hangs on as the ball bumped away from her. Kelly actually doesn't take a whole lot of free position shots. He's 1 for 3 coming into this game. This one's straight ahead. She might give this one a go. I think Horner got a foot on it. Gilbert stops and starts to Jakes, deflected and into Horner's stick. Vogel behind the cage. Bridget Babcock. Castiello. Brazier, nifty spin move, fires, and is denied again. Kara Ram just putting on an absolute show here in the fourth quarter. Kara Ram lights out. Cornell has scored just 1 goal so far in this fourth quarter, just 3 times so far in the second half. As the spigot has been turned off for the Big Red, it seems. Brown reaches out, hangs on to it. As we go in Cornell's direction. Well, Ithaca, New York is not an easy place to get to. Look at it on a map and you'll see why. Beautiful part of the country, just outstanding in the fall. But it takes a bit of an effort to get there and to get out of there as well. So the team bust from Ithaca to Syracuse up the road. New York Route 13 and up I-81, you'll get there in probably about an hour and a half, I would think. But they flew out of Syracuse. Contact right at the crease. And Slamenko took a bit of a spill. So they bust up to Syracuse, connected through Charlotte, got out here to SFO a few days ago. Slamenko versus Kara Ram. Ram has been on fire of late, and it continues. Second effort wide. Kara Ram is unbelievable. They just can't get anything past her. And Cornell also had an open look on the rebound, but that one was off target. Meanwhile, everything going Stanford's way. Ashley Humphrey, the hat trick. And Stanford in complete control. So Humphrey has the hat trick. Oh, by the way, Sarah Jakes, 3 goals, 2 assists. How about that? An impressive afternoon for her. There they are. And those are 2 high school teammates, Darien High School back in Connecticut, Humphrey and Jakes. And they have been terrific so far in this one, but maybe one of the real stars of the show is her. Kara Ram has not given Cornell anything. Literally stopping one-on-ones, blocking point-blank looks, stopping 8-meter shots, and just completely confounding the Cornell attack. So less than 5 minutes to go. Stanford up by 9. Taken by Thomas. Thomas won 73 draws last year. That's a Cornell single-season record. Underneath. That one's wide. I believe that was Pons who tried to give it a go as you look at Ram's numbers. And really, the numbers are impressive by themselves, but the actual video to accompany them, just some absolute dynamite saves that you have to see to believe. Let's see what she can do here. Can she keep it going? Bridget Babcock. Straight ahead. That one over the top. Cornell with the player advantage. Brazier. Well, high and wide. Rita Peterson is on the Stanford bench. Actually, check that. That's Julia Green, who is serving out the yellow card. Well, here we go again. And finally, after some tricky stick work, Castiello finds a way past Kara Ram. Hat trick for Castiello. Just over 3 minutes to go. And Castiello had to do all sorts of things to try to get that ball past Ram. And it's hard to blame her, right? Had to wave the stick around a couple times, maybe fake high, maybe fake low, and then finally, eventually, on her third move, let loose and was able to connect for the score. Horn sounded and everyone went completely silent here at Kagan as one of the officials heads over to the table on the far side. 17-9, Stanford on its way, it looks like, to a much-needed win. Boy, they wanted that win over Jacksonville badly. Wanted it badly. Jacksonville's the team that knocked them off in the NCAA tournament last year in the first round. Put so much work and effort and preparation into finding a way past Jacksonville and getting on the plane, heading out of North Florida back to the Bay Area victorious. That did not happen. And the team very disappointed in that. Needed to find a way to rebound and bounce back and get back in the win column. And it appears that Stanford is going to do just that. And by and large, a team effort in the goal scoring category with 9 different Cardinal players scoring for Stanford today, including 8 different goal scorers in Stanford's first 8 tallies. The defense turning it on, and Kara Ram just allowing nothing. I believe Stanford has called a timeout.
Timeout, Stanford.
They have. So the Cardinal will talk some things over and try to get set and try to find a way to close out and finish out strong against a Cornell squad. As we will turn our attentions for a moment to what's coming up in the Pac-12 lacrosse schedule right here on the Pac-12 network, is certainly involving these 2 teams, Cal Colorado, Cal Arizona State. Stanford USC is always a big deal, no matter the sport. And then Stanford and Cal will renew hostilities up in Berkeley on April the 28th. Berkeley, by the way, is the site for this year's Pac-12 tournament. Looking forward to being on site for that one, May 3rd through 6th. So again, those are the games involving Cal and Stanford that are available on the Pac-12 network and the family of channels. Of course, many more involving Colorado and Arizona State and USC and Oregon as well. For the most part, we're just getting started here with our coverage of lacrosse, a fantastic sport, a sport that's making many inroads here on the West Coast. Stanford hoping to be a torchbearer, hoping to break deeper into the NCAA tournament and prove that teams on the West Coast can do big-time things in this sport, that it doesn't have to belong to just Northwestern or just the ACC schools or even the Ivies pop up every once in a while. It doesn't have to just remain on that side of the country. That the West Coast can be a big part of it too. Stanford's certainly a torchbearer. USC has done terrific things over the year. Colorado has been a fantastic program to watch over the years as well. They certainly know what they're doing as well. Stanford already in first place in the Pac-12 on the strength of their win over Cal 12 days ago. The rest of the Pac-12 schedule begins March 17th for everyone. 17-9. 3+ minutes remaining. Four different draw takers for Stanford today: Frist, Miller, Pete Williams, and Dakota Uwe. Uwe has been taking many of the draws in the first quarter, Pete Williams in the third. So our first look at her. Did not see her on any offensive sets, though. We'll probably see that as the season goes along, as they work her in. Beyond Kramer's reach, but Castiello tries to clean it up and sends a laser wide of the net. But Castiello, her shots just all have one speed. Fast. Although she changes it up a bit there and goes top shelf. 17-10. 4 goals for Katie Castiello. So she has scored 7 times this weekend here in the Bay Area. So Northern California has been good to her from a goal scoring standpoint. Dakota Uwe, the freshman from West Friendship, Maryland. In the draw circle for Stanford once again, Annie Thomas. For Cornell. Bounces to the Big Red. And Brazier was a bit bottled up, tried to spin free. And a stoppage in play before Brazier could really do anything about it. Up next for Stanford, a trip down to San Diego. They will take on Stony Brook. On track to be their third-ranked opponent in their first 5 games. Back to action. The spin, the shot, and the score. Amanda Kramer had a hat trick by the time we got to the early portion of the second quarter, and now she's finally found her fourth. Suddenly, Cornell with back-to-back-to-back goals in just the space of about 66 seconds. So the Big Red not going away. Still a lot of work left to do. Probably gonna take an effort of Herculean proportions, but Cornell still battling. Jenny Grapp having a discussion with the official at the scorer's table for a moment. Everyone's on the same page now. And we begin again. Inside 2 minutes to go. Scooped up by Cornell. Brazier. Boy, she has been all over the place in this game. Dishes to Kramer. Low and wide. Underneath. Point blank once again at close range. Cornell chipping away. That's Sophie Alois. And a hat trick against Harvard last year. That's her second goal of the season. And look at this. Cornell suddenly on a 4-0 run. And these goals coming just seconds apart. About 45 seconds between goals from Castiello and 21 seconds for Kramer to connect. And now 26 more seconds for Sophie Alois to find the back of the cage. And this game suddenly getting a bit closer than how things might really have gone in this game, how things might really have been indicated. Cardinal finally win a draw. One second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. The game clock is just 1 second ahead. Miscommunication. Poking at it. And Horner wins the battle for the ball. 1 minute to go. Cardinal pressuring. Jay Brown hunting it down. On the ground. Got it back. to Brazier. Spinning. Fighting through two red shirts. Doesn't have a shot. Kramer. Boy, tried to sneak it in there. I believe that was Castiel, the intended target. Stanford ball, and the Cardinal will take its time. Well, Stanford able to get some separation from Cornell in the early part of the fourth quarter, and a good thing too, because the Big Red put some goals together at the end of it, but they can only get as close as 5. It's a final. The Stanford Cardinal back in the win column as they beat the Cornell Big Red 17-12. Hat tricks for Ashley Humphrey, who had no assists in this game. Sarah Jakes with 3 assists and 3 goals as well. Ailish Kelly, Jay Brown, and Katie Gilbert with 2 goals apiece. And at one point in this game, especially early in the fourth quarter, Kara Ram looked like one of the greatest goalkeepers that this sport has ever seen. Ram finishing with 12 saves on the night. Stanford now 2-2 on the season, while Cornell suffers its first loss of the season. They fall to 3-1. On behalf of our Pac-12 Network crew, I'm Troy Clarity. Thanks again for joining us. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and back the pack.